What's going on, guys? It's Wrestling Pulse here.
Back with another video. Join us now as we look at this week's edition of Raw, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including WWE talent don't want to go to Saudi Arabia in fear, WWE is banned mentioning the current conflict, is WWE changing Cody Rhodes' theme, a major Night of Champions match has been cancelled, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. As always, we won't recap the show, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good is number 1, mixed signals. As Seth Rollins and his new sinister faction kicked off Raw, this was perhaps Rollins' strongest promo in recent months, and Rollins questioning why the crowd is sending him mixed signals was a fascinating angle. Rollins will question why the crowd cheer heels and then boo them the next. This could be a compelling trait for Rollins' new character to go down. Sadly, the second half of the promo was underwhelming, as Rollins' motivations for the stable are falling flat. The chemistry between he and his oracle Paul Heyman still needs significant development. Number 2, Penta vs. Bron Breakker. Penta and Bron Breakker had a stellar television match on Raw last night. The two have fantastic chemistry in the ring, and the crowd continues to be heavily invested in both men. It was great to see Paul Heyman manage Breakker on the outside, and the two definitely match in terms of the wrestler and manager role in WWE. Number 3, Roxanne carries. Roxanne Perez showed the world why she's a future leader of the women's division last night. Perez's match with Jade Cargill was definitely clunky in parts, yet Perez managed to carry the match, and she made Cargill look like the biggest star in the world. Number 4, short and sweet. Now, Goldberg really does shine in short segments that are intense in nature. In a sit-down interview with Michael Cole, Goldberg would explain the brief continuity with Gunther, and he would logically explain that the incident at Bad Blood is the sole reason as to why he's been selected as his final opponent. WWE did throw an interesting question to the audience as they asked what happens if Goldberg wins the world title in his final match. Will he then have to retire it straight away? Will the title then become vacant? Number 5, Karrion Kross's push begins. The Karrion Kross push is finally here. Kross would confront Sami Zayn in a backstage segment on Raw, and WWE would subsequently announce Kross vs. Zayn for Night of Champions this Saturday. At last, WWE are embracing the positive reactions to Kross, and hopefully his match with Zayn on a major event acts as a huge showcase for the former NXT champion. In fact, his last singles PLE match was all the way back in 2022 at Crown Jewel facing Drew McIntyre. Number 6, Bayley vs. Becky Lynch. The women's Intercontinental title seen on Raw continues to impress. Bayley vs. Becky Lynch was said to become an incredible TV match until WWE delivered a non-finish. In a rare move, the non-finish made a world of sense, as it would have Lyra Valkyria interfere. Evolution is just over 2 weeks away, and all signs are pointing towards a triple threat between Bayley, Lynch, and Valkyria, and Cody vs. Jay. A Raw was main evented by Cody Rhodes vs. Jey Uso, and the crowd were fully invested into everything the two were doing. This was a strong TV main event, and although Rhodes winning was expected, it didn't deter anything away from the match. Rhodes vs. Randy Orton is now set at the finals for the 2025 King of the Ring, which is a certified dream match and a match that fans have wanted to see for a very long time. But that was a good. What about the bad? Is number 1, a lifeless tag division. Now on Raw last night, WWE would announce that the New Day would take on the Judgment Day next week for the tag titles. This match has virtually come out of nowhere, and WWE have completely given up with the tag titles, as the New Day specifically are practically backstage characters at this point. There was nothing downright ugly on this week's show. The show was consistent and managed to flow extremely well. Key matches on the show, such as Bron Breakker vs. Penta and Cody vs. Jay, received significant time to shine, and extended TV matches on weekly WWE programming are always welcome. What did you guys think of the Red Brand this week and the Go Home Raw show to Night of Champions? Let us know in the comments down below. Now, let's move on to the news. Our first story upset a major Night of Champions match cancelled. Now, our top story today takes a look at how WWE have decided to scrap a key match for this Saturday. One of the title matches for Night of Champions this Saturday was to see Dominic Mysterio vs. AJ Styles. The match would be for Mysterio's Intercontinental title, and this has been a match that has been building since just after WrestleMania 41. However, this match has now been officially cancelled by WWE. On Raw last night, Raw General Manager Adam Pearce would announce that Dirty Dom is injured and therefore won't be able to wrestle on the Premium Live event this coming weekend. Pearce did state that once Mysterio is cleared, AJ Styles will receive the first shot. The WWE's announcement relating to Mysterio's injury is the first time Dirty Dom's injury status has been revealed. Before Raw last night, there was an inkling that Mysterio was injured or even banged up. Fans on social media are speculating that perhaps Mysterio opted out of the show mainly due to safety concerns. Whilst this theory has substantial attraction on social media, it's worth noting that it's just a theory and has no credence at this stage. Next up, WWE have switched up Night of Champions card. Now, due to WWE cancelling Dominic Mysterio vs AJ Styles, they've been forced to switch up the card for Night of Champions. Now added to the card last night was a singles match between Karrion Kross and Sami Zayn and a street fight between Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez. This now means that the final match card, as things stand, features John Cena vs CM Punk for the WWE title, Randy Orton vs Cody Rhodes for the King of the Ring finals, Jade Cargill vs Asuka for the Queen of the Ring finals, Jacob Fatu vs Solo Sikoa for the US title, Karrion Kross vs Sami Zayn, Rhea Ripley vs Raquel Rodriguez in a street fight. WWE switching up the 5-match card formula is great to see, yet the card is still receiving criticism online. Night of Champions was a concept used to focus on every single championship in the company being defended in some capacity. This concept, in WWE at least, was introduced in 2007, and it was a popular concept as it gave every single title a chance to shine. Fans are now questioning, what's the point of labeling the night Night of Champions if only 2 matches are title showdowns? I guess they should just rename it Night of 2 Championships. Next up, WWE talent don't want to go to Saudi in fear. Now all signs point towards WWE going ahead with Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. It's been widely reported that talent from the main roster are set to fly out to Saudi tomorrow, and a new report from Sportskeeda revealed that a number of names backstage in WWE are uncomfortable regarding the trip. According to Sportskeeda's report, a portion of the WWE team feels the situation is too new and things are far too unpredictable to travel to Saudi. There is a very real fear and pressure backstage in WWE surrounding the upcoming Night of Champions event in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. This comes amid the volatility in the area. Sources close to Sportskeeda have let us know that staff and talent in the company have shown that they are uncomfortable with the upcoming trip to Saudi Arabia for SmackDown and Night of Champions 2025. A portion of the WWE team feels that the situation is too new, and at this time, things are too unpredictable for any such travel to take place. The report also notes that the situation is being monitored on a day-to-day basis. As of today, the Triple H-led WWE is still scheduled to travel to Saudi Arabia as per communication received by talents and staff, with the management letting them know that the situation is being actively monitored on a day-to-day basis. Now, it was also predicted that some of the WWE talent and staff were stuck in Qatar due to Qatari airspace being temporarily suspended. The closure came after Iran launched attacks on US military bases near Doha. However, PW Insider cleared up the rumors that Saudi Arabia shut down airspace to civilian flights due to the ongoing situation involving Iran, Israel, and the US. They mentioned the actual reality of WWE staffers have been in Saudi since the week of 9th June. Additional production staff have been arriving regularly since that time, and setup has been underway for at least a week. That said, there are 5 WWE staffers currently stuck in Qatar at Doha Airport. PWInsider.com is told that they were waiting for a connecting flight to Saudi Arabia after landing in Qatar. WWE has not commented on the status of the event, but we're told as of today, setup has continued as per schedule. It was also reported from Fightful that the Saudi government are still expecting the show to continue, but it seems that WWE banned mentioning the current conflict. Now, it was bizarre that WWE made 0 references to the ongoing conflict between Iran and Israel last night on Raw, but it was reported on the Wrestling Observer Radio that WWE aren't allowed to allude to the conflict as it's potentially dangerous. We're going to talk about this Raw show. This was a Raw go-home for the Night of Champions, and they didn't mention anything about. No, they weren't allowed. They weren't allowed to. They were just not allowed to mention anything on that. That's probably one of the reasons why they weren't allowed to address it, was because I don't think they want those questions being asked. As far as everything, it's potentially dangerous. This is certainly alarming, as WWE is scared of mentioning anything about the ongoing conflict on TV, but they're more than happy to fly out all their talent to Saudi Arabia. It simply doesn't make any sense. Next up is WWE changing Cody Rhodes' theme. There's been concern as of late that WWE could be changing Cody Rhodes' theme song. This concern predominantly comes from WWE's obsession with making Def Rebel produce theme songs, and they're doing this so they can own the full rights to the track in question. WWE recently did this for Jordan Grace on NXT, and there's concern that they could be doing it for everyone across the board. Thankfully, it doesn't look like this is happening. According to Sean Ross Sapp via Fightful Select Q&A, Rhodes has enough pull and influence backstage to avoid being made to change his theme song. I think that guy has enough pull to avoid that. It's such an integral part of his presentation and the WWE presentation in general. Like, if you want to go there and do the whoa, you want to listen to the song, all that good stuff. I think that would be really bad. WWE changing Rhodes' now iconic theme would greatly impact his overall presentation, and hopefully it never occurs. And finally, should LA Knight win the world title? Our final story today takes a look at recent comments from a WWE Hall of Famer
Who's revealed that he believes that LA Knight should win the world title. Kevin Nash was extremely critical of LA when he debuted his current persona on the main roster, and Nash went as far as saying that LA was trying to rip off The Rock, but thankfully his stance has now changed. LA Knight has impressed Nash so much that according to Nash on his podcast this week, they should commit to giving LA a run with the world title. I'll tell you what, we gave him a lot of shit earlier in this show. He was a copycat and everything else, and I really appreciate him. He's a solid hand. The people like him. He would definitely be on my list of guys to give a world run to. The only problem is, he's a babyface. His work has always been solid. I was just gonna say also that he stays in really good shape. This is great to see, and as fans continue to campaign for LA to be inserted into the main event picture, names such as Nash actively pushing him to become world champion will certainly help the cause. But there you have it, folks, our look at Raw, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.